Okay, to start with, I'd like everyone to just look at Surah 14:52, where it says that anybody can understand the Quran because it's written clearly. And then the next surah is 13:3, where we can see that he's spread out the earth. He hasn't clustered it up into a ball, but spread it out. The same as Surah 15:19. As for the earth, we spread it out. So that pretty much says that it's spread out level, maybe even flat. Definitely not a globe. In Surah Nuh, which is 71:15-20, we can see that Allah has also created 7 heavens, one upon another, and he's made the moon a light, not just a rock reflecting sunlight, but its own light. And also Surah 79:27-33, we can see that we are not as difficult to create as the heaven, and it is constructed it high, flawlessly, and the earth has been flattened for life. In Surah 88:17-20, we can also see that the earth has been leveled out, not rounded up. So it's spread, it's leveled. Let's have a look at some more. The next one we've got would be Surah 91, number 1-10, where he talks about the sun and that the moon follows him. And it speaks about the moon as feminine, which we also know that females have their menstrual cycles in line with the moon. And we talk about the firmament, which doesn't make sense on a globe model. Surah 21:30, have those that don't disbelieve considered that the heaven and the earth were a joined entity and that they were separated, like the Bible says, waters from the below and waters from above, and that the sun and moon are swimming. So when we look at the scientific experiment, star in a jar, when we look at the Egyptians' depiction of holding water from above, from below, and the Bible, we also see that it matches the star in the jar experiment, like the Quran clearly says, and that we have a sky, well-protected canopy, but still people will turn away from their signs, and that there's pillars that hold up these heavens, the pillars that we don't see, which also matches the star in the jar experiment and the Bible and the Egyptians' depiction. Then we've got Surah 65:12, where again Allah created the 7 heavens and he sits above all, which in his knowledge encompasses all things, which suggests that he's above the earth. And Surah 22:65, where it says that he holds back the heaven so that it should not fall down upon the earth, like the star in the jar experiment, let there be light, the frequency keeping everything going. Surah 55:33, where he speaks about the jinn and mankind that cannot pass through the heavens. So is the Quran wrong? Or is NASA lying about going through the Van Allen belt and past Earth orbit? Also, Surah 25:53, where he's separated the 2 waters from the sweet and the bitter, and it is a petition that is forbidden to be passed. In Surah 31:10, the mountains are acting like wooden pegs, and water was sent down from the heaven, again suggesting the star in the jar experiment, and the earth is in the middle of the bubble. In Surah 13:2, Allah raised the heavens without any supports that you could see, like we're in a bubble, again the star in a jar, and he governs the entire order of things like a clock. In Surah 39:21, Allah sendeth down water from the heaven, which is talking about water from above, not clouds in the sky. And then we've got Surah 40, verse 57. The creations of the heaven and earth is greater than the creation of mankind, but most of the people do not know, suggesting that earth might be more than a 3-dimensional shape. but rather a 4D or a 5D or 7 heavens, 7D, 7-dimensional shape, which is why I'm not a flat earther, because neither the Bible or the Quran says flat, but it does say level, and it did say spread out. And it does talk about the heavens being constructed with strength, and that we as people are its expander, meaning that maybe the heavens grow as the earth grows. That wouldn't work on a ball. Surah 78, verses 6 and 7, have also spoken about level lands. The earth is as a floor or as a bed. And again, that the mountains are as stakes and pegs, holding earth level and stable. In Surah 13:3, he who spread the earth. And indeed, there are signs for people who give thought. So there are hints to how earth is, even if it doesn't specifically say a shape for us. Surah 2, verse 29, it was he who created all that is on the earth for you. Then he turned to the sky and made the 7 heavens after, meaning the earth was first, just like in the Bible, the earth was before the sun. And then in Surah 41, verse 12, we can see that he adorned the lowest heaven with lamps and set angels to guard them or to defend from the devils. Yet, if we were believing in balls of fire in space, that wouldn't make much sense. But if we're talking about the lamps that are in the firmament, as the Bible and the Quran clearly say, which we can see with modern cameras, especially when we look at Jupiter's moons, we adorned the lowest heaven with stars like lamps and made for them as missiles to deal with the devils. And you'll also see that the moonlight has been made to have stages of its lighting, like a female menstrual cycle, like I said before. And you'll see that we can use the moon and the sun to tell the time, because it's like a clock. The moon tells the moons and the sun tells the hour. And then we've got the stars telling the season, like a perfect clock. And we can see that the sun and the moon are swimming in an orbit in Surah 21, verse 33. But it doesn't talk about the earth swimming or rotating, just the sun and the moon in their own orbit. Just like in Surah 39, verse 5, he has subjected the sun and the moon to run their courses for an appointed time, subjected them to us, because earth seems to be geocentric, just like in Surah 36, verse 38. But each in an orbit is swimming. Like I say, it doesn't talk about earth swimming, it talks about the celestial bodies, the sun, the moon, and the stars moving around us, subjected to us, running its course for a specified term, like a perfect world clock. Now, everybody agrees that on the top of Mount Everest was once under the sea. However, many people do not associate these rocks and fossils with Noah's flood because they think there's not enough water to cover the highest mountain. Yet even NASA will admit that Mount Everest has got seashells and marine microorganisms on the very top. And just like Atlantis myths, we can see all around the world there's cities that are underwater. So a worldwide flood wouldn't make sense on a globe, but as we've just seen in the video, it would make sense on a level geocentric stationary Earth. And there is talk about Noah's flood in Surah 11, verse 44, Surah 23:27, in which all people will be drowned. So this is a worldwide flood, not a local flood. Just like we can see in the next surah, 71:26-27, where it says, do not leave a single disbeliever on earth. So it's clearly a worldwide flood, which doesn't make sense on a globe. Yet we can see evidence when we go to the coastline or to a longer riverbed, we can see that there's petrified organs all around. Even the round ones have got a convex side and a concave side because organs are lying on other organs in bags of fascia. Yet the other pebbles are all shaped like a harp, which look like petrified hearts. A worldwide flood doesn't make sense on a globe, but it does make sense in a star in a jar. Thank you very much.